He's a youngster still.
He may be young, but he's got something between his ears. He's got battle experience. And when he gets the estate that's his by right, he'll be well secured for life.
If he gets it. Right now, Hanush lords over Rattay and seems quite happy with that state of affairs. On the other hand, the Lords of Lipa have a good reputation, and Hanush can always be relied on despite his temper. Maybe it's not such a bad idea.
So, will you support our plan?
You're selling the skin of a boar that's still grunting. First, I want a confirmation that the wedding will take place as soon as possible.
And what if Lord Capon refuses?
I don't care what the young lord thinks. Hanush is the one to decide. If he agrees, I'll be happy to support your plan.
Pushing a friend to tie the knot to save the kingdom. Things have come to a pretty pass.
The kingdom will not forget his sacrifice. Now stop dilly-dallying and go and tell Hanush.
Take a look at that.
Sir Hanush, I bring happy tidings.
You do? Let's hear it then.
I've gained us a powerful ally.
And who is it? I hope it's not one of those Kuttenberg stuffed guts.
On the contrary, it's Bocek, the elder of Kunstadt and Podjebrad.
Kunstadt? My Christ, he's the last one I'd have expected to step up. How the hell did you do it?
Well, there's one little catch. I had to promise him. I don't even know how to begin.
Out with it.
Lord Kunstadt has a niece, so I arranged a betrothal for young Lord Capon, with your blessing if you agree.
Hans Capon is to marry Yitka of Kunstadt. Godwin, you conniving old bastard!
Oh, fuck.
I don't believe it. So, young Hans is to marry Kunstadt's daughter?
Niece.
If you're serious, I'll make sure that you get the Rattay parish.
Or you could make me the abbot of Sassa. Or what about a bishop?
Forget it. Soon I'll be paying for a wedding. Not a word to Hans. I want to tell him myself. But let's drink to it, shall we?
Cheers!
Cheers to you, and to your parleying skills.
Exactly why we mustn't push too.
Sir Bocek, your niece Yitka can start preparing for her wedding.
So Hanush agreed, without reservations.
Indeed.
Then I will fulfill my end of the bargain without reservation.
Thank you, Lord of Kunstadt.
Enough formality. We'll have a drink. What do you say?
Cheers to the beautiful Lady Yitka and the
Here's to a...
Godwin, we didn't have much time for conversation on the way here. Let's rectify that.
With pleasure, sir. As it happens, there's something I'd like to ask you. Where did you leave Sir Divish? Surely he's not too old to miss out on such an event.
Haven't you heard? Lady Stephanie is with child. No one even imagined Divish would produce an heir at his age.
As they say, it doesn't matter who kneaded the dough, as long as there's a pie in the oven.
Godwin.
Well, it could be a miracle. Praise the Lord. I couldn't help but notice your son has a bit of a talent for getting into trouble.
To put it mildly, but not to do him an injustice, knowing young Lord Capon, he undoubtedly contributed to that more than a little. Although, if they didn't pull each other out of trouble, God knows where they'd be now.
Wise words. Still, Henry's come a long way on a thorny path. I trust you're rightfully proud of him.
You know, I am. And Martin would also be glad, even though Henry chose a different path than he.
May God grant him eternal rest. What are you expecting from today's gathering, my lord?
Well, I have no great expectations. But, all going well, we may be able to establish some joint steps towards the future. As long as we proceed without prior agreement and mutual support, we will be very unlikely to achieve any progress.
God bless. God bless.
I'll teach her a lesson too.
And what if we were to explain to him that he should go and fuck himself?
God be with you, noble lady. There's something I'd like to ask of you.
God be with you. What would that be?
Your diplomatic support and your money.
No beating around the bush, eh? I like that. But what do you want my money for?
Margrave Yob's plan has some gaps, milady. We need to gather enough resources to...
To muster an army that Margrave can't afford on his own?
Christ, be praised. You're astute.
I should say so. All sorts of people have their eyes on my money, and divining their intentions is a necessity. Although, between the two of us, it isn't hard to figure out what Liechtenstein is after.
Hit the nail on the head again, Mom. You're well informed.
I am rarely mistaken.
I'd say you have a better nose for people than most of this crowd.
Not only for people, but also for good food and wine. And beneficial deals.
Who did you learn from? In my experience, women usually learn other skills.
I acquired the basics from my husband. God rest his soul. And the rest I learnt quickly, as soon as others started sniffing around his estate. So, to the point. What is it that Liechtenstein wants from me?
Nothing more than support and resources for an army to parley more effectively with Sigismund.
Nothing more? I'd say that's plenty. And why ask me for help? Why should I, of all people, take the risk?
It's not only your money we're interested in. You're well able to negotiate and trade. And if you were to take part in our plan...
Then I'd be helpful to you on two fronts. If you want me to support you, you must give me a good reason. Perhaps a favor in return.
Do you have something in particular in mind?
Well, one of the guests here has something that shouldn't get into the wrong hands.
Who's that?
Harmon Alder. Now, If you were to switch these papers for the ones he brought with him, I would support your proposal.
And the papers I'm supposed to plant on Alder?
Just insignificant documents. If the incriminating ones disappeared without a trace, it would arouse suspicion.
Have you fallen out with the town councillor?
No. Alder is innocent in the matter. My relatives from the House of Bartosz are behind it all. They're disappointed that I dared outlive my husband, and the fact that I'm handling his estates makes their hair stand on end.
And these papers I'm supposed to switch, what do they concern?
My relatives somehow dug up some trade contracts between myself and certain undesirable parties.
You were dealing with the enemy.
They were not the enemy at the time. My conscience is clear, but I'll rest easier when those papers are in my hands.
I'm supposed to rob an...
Haman Alder was given the documents to deliver to the council. He hasn't yet had a chance to look at them, so he won't even notice the difference.
All right, I'll help you.
Alder will surely have the papers in his saddlebags, which he left in the shed on the outer courtyard. Bring them to me, and put these there instead. But watch yourself. Odorim's groom has eyes everywhere.
Mind where you're going.
What brings you here? You'd better go. Hey, you! What are you doing here? No one's...
I'm waiting here for you.
Oh, how's that?
I've been watching you for a while, and I have a feeling you do well to talk a little. In conspectu Dei.
Who in God's name are you?
In God's name indeed. I'm a priest, and I know a wretched sinner when I see one.
Is it that obvious? Christ above.
Don't blaspheme. It'll help you more to confess.
And in the morning, when I met him, I swore I never laid eyes on his daughter. But even though my back was scratched raw from our roll in the hay.
That's a mortal sin. Lying with a woman that you're not joined with in holy matrimony. And then lying about it too. That's already 2 commandments broken for the price of 1.
I'll go to hell for that, won't I?
You won't. As long as you repent. Be contrite. Fast and pray. 10 Our Fathers. Ego te absolvo.
I'll start right away. Thank you, Father.
No Barker's daughter, but... I've got those papers from Alder for you.
Quiet! You don't have to announce it to everyone.
My lady, with all the clamor going on here, I can hardly hear my own thoughts. Here they are.
You're more capable than I expected. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome. And now you're part of the bargain.
As agreed. I will support Liechtenstein's proposal with both words and money.
Thank you, noble lady. God will...
Yes, quite. But let's drink to our bargain, Godwin.
How could I...
And to the success...
Gentlemen, I think we can raise our goblets to the successful conclusion of the negotiations.
Is this supposed to be your secret weapon?
Like I said, Miracles happen where you least expect them. Tell me, Godwin of the House of Odorin, what news do you bring us?
I bring nothing from the House of Odorin. But the widow of Waldstein and Sir Bocek of Kunstadt will support our cause.
Both of them. Good heavens, what did you promise them?
This is going to be a long story, and I could use a drink. So if you'll excuse me, my lords?
It would seem that we have all benefited from the break in these proceedings. New alliances have been formed. And I have also changed my plans. We shall still wait for Sigismund to withdraw his troops of his own accord. But we will wait with an army at our backs.
Yes! Yeah. And how are we to raise an army? Wasn't it made clear at the meeting that no one wants to take the risk?
The only thing made clear was that each of us alone is weak, and that we could not find common ground. But that has now changed.
King Wenceslas is, by the will of God, the Balbatim of all his subjects. Not only the Christians, our community, and not only ours, will give you coin.
Yes! The Kuttenberg houses are still loyal to King Wenceslaus, and we stand with Lord Ruthard.
And if that's not enough, the houses of Leipa and Kunstadt will unite and march side by side.
My niece, Yitka, will take young Lord Capon as her husband.
Lords Kunstadt, Hanush, Radzig, and I will set out immediately. God willing, we will be back within 3 weeks, along with an army.
Now those are words worthy of a nobleman.
My friend, I still believe that words are more powerful than swords. And our words will ring in 1,000 voices to the glory of King Wenceslas.
After we conquered the city, you promised to restore order immediately. And then I find out things are even more disordered than before.
Your Majesty, we are sorry. We will put it to rights.
You've already said that. I want to hear real solutions.
We will put more guards on the roads and toughen penalties. We can have a few captured bandits executed as an example to others.
We do not care about bandits. We care about rebellious nobles and burghers. What will you do with them? How will you solve the chaos in the town administration, the rebellious miners, and the dismal yields? And how is it even possible that a rebellion against the king is smoldering here in the city?
What do you mean, sire?
I hear the resistance is coming from the Jewish quarter, from right under your noses. Why haven't you done anything?
We don't know who is behind this. Without evidence, we cannot punish them.
Otto von Berghoff did not ask questions in Prague either. He acted. And I advise you to do the same. Find a couple of wretches in a hole somewhere, point them to the Jewish quarter, and give them free rein to do anything. The city's Jewish community was and still is on Wenceslas' side. They need a warning.
We do not even have enough men to...
Marquardt, could you spare a few men for a while?
Of course, sire. I'll assign them to Eric. He'll take care of it.
So you see, all you have to do is make sure the city rebel get their share. You could at least manage that, couldn't you? And if the thought should cross your minds that you would get rid of the debts to the Jewish moneylenders this way, forget about it. Your debts will remain, up to the last groschen. Only now you owe us directly. And while we are on the subject of money, has the yield from the mines finally matched last year's?
Sire, the deposits are dwindling, and mining is becoming increasingly difficult. And to make matters worse, the miners started rebelling.
Don't take us for a fool. They'll stop rebelling when you pay them proper wages.
Your Majesty, we can't do that.
Silence! How dare you oppose the kingdom's protector? You're a bunch of incompetent sycophants. Chicken shits. Not any better than the scum hiding in the forest.
I apologize, sire. I'll do everything in my power to...
All I hear from you over and over again are excuses and prevarication. And results? None. I therefore placed the city council under the authority of Sir Marquardt von Aulitz, who is present here, with immediate effect. He will make sure you finally do your duty.
But, sire, that would be a violation of the privileges granted to us as a free mining town.
Silence! I am the only guarantor of your rights. You have to earn your privileges, not hide behind them. During my brother's reign, this idleness was perhaps tolerated. But that is over now. You were given a few simple tasks. But instead of working on them, you idled in the baths and lined your pockets. And let the traitors cast their nets undisturbed. But unlike my brother, I am capable of creating order. And I assure you, I do not distinguish between those who stand in my way. Be they beggars, noblemen, or city councillors. You have 2 weeks to restore order in the city and increase mining output. I want clear results, and you answer only to me and Sir Marquardt von Aulitz now. No one else. The council is dismissed. You, don't go anywhere, boy. Be so kind and remain here. Our throat has become rather dry. And we still wish to speak with our friend von Aulitz.
Yes, sire. As you wish, sire.
Between the two of us, Marquardt, was I not perhaps too harsh on them? And speak candidly. We have had enough of false flattery.
Sire, you were harsh, but rightfully so. These councillors, they need to be shown their place. You suffered their insolence for far too long. And the same is true of the Jews.
We know. Otto repeated to us several times that it is time to strike against them. We are glad he's not here. He would be intolerably self-satisfied if he knew we had heeded him.
Boy, can't you see the king's cup is empty?
You tend to us as if we were infirm. Boy, pour us a monastic wine. The monks had a good year. We have concerns, friend. The Hungarians are rebelling. Our army is falling apart, and we have enemies here on all sides. Would we had a proper army instead of human mercenaries? They cannot be relied upon. And we are no closer to our goal now than a few months ago. Thank you. It is a good year. If our father were still alive, he would have been astonished by the mess that a few years of Wenceslaus' reign brought to us. With a single word, he would have put the nobility in their place, and the country would flourish. God grant him eternal glory.
We won't need much more time. We'll arrest the traitor Odorin, and the rest will fall in line.
You say the others will be brought into line, but what do you know of them? We know only a few of them. But there's a fortress standing on every damn hill here. What side are their lords on?
We'll find out soon enough, sire.
If only Wenceslas were not such a stubborn ass, and relinquished that throne that he has no use for anyway. The nobility, on the other hand, found a ruler like him very useful. They made a puppet out of it.
Once you restore order, they'll join you. All you have to do is promise them the privileges they lost during Wenceslas' reign.
First, they'd have to be willing to make peace at least among themselves. Jobs does everything he can to sow chaos, so that he himself emerges victorious in the end. This business makes me thirsty. Pour me some of that red, boy.
I think Jobst is just waiting for the right moment. He'll switch sides when it suits him.
Maybe. But first I'll have to conquer a few more cities, and get a couple more lords on my side. Then they take the threat of war seriously. And Hungary. If Bohemia is a wasp nest, then Hungary is a viper's lair.
You will follow in his footsteps, sire, as soon as you get the chance.
But the wine is good here. To your health, Margaret. And to your health too, boy. May your children grow in a land ruled by a good king. You did a good job, waiter. You can be proud of yourself.
To your health, Your Majesty.
First, we need to crack down on the biggest troublemakers.
We're working on it. While the consul was meeting, Otto von Berghoff and his men set out from a bush. Odorin won't give you any more trouble.
He and Ruthard are in it together. Once we get Odorin, we can handle Ruthard easy. Rabosch will be yours. After all, Otto has already got Malishov.
I appreciate your confidence, sire.
But the devil knows there are a lot more strongholds to conquer here.
For the king, red wine, boy.
No, we shall have white. We have had enough of it.
White it is. Quickly! If Rabosch falls, others will follow.
I think von Berghoff's little contraption will find its use again.
If need be, we could use it to raise this town hall too. And I have some suggestions for other candidates.
Not so fast, my friend. It's a wondrous tool, but we can't rely on it forever.
To bring it here to the square and point it at the city hall? Those sycophants would only benefit from a warning like that.
It's a splendid idea, but it won't be necessary. The councillors are quite fearful enough already that they can hide nothing from us.
There's been enough fretting, sire. You shall see. Soon we will drink to the conquest of another fortress.
You are right. So then, to victory. And you, boy, will you drink with us? So that you shall have something to tell your children and grandchildren.
To victory, sire.
To today's, and those of the future.
Constance
so I can make sure everyone heard.
And who is this young pup anyway? I've never heard of him. Yet another impoverished nobleman. Not so went up like that.
He will wake up in a ditch somewhere with a mighty hangover.
Nearly drops his soul. Hallelujah.
I drank many.
How'd you like her wine, Chevalier?
The art of winemaking has a long tradition in La Belle France. Recipes are passed on from father to son, and each generation brings them to perfection. I myself was practically raised on wine. How many I have tasted? Even the French royal court took note of my refined taste. The king himself had wine delivered for his table according to my advice.
I expect his lordship had the best barrels rolled out. Now, if you'd only known he had a real connoisseur.
Best barrels! Mon ami, this wine would perhaps be suited to the infirmary, where it would suffice for cleaning wounds and easing pain. For that, the taste is of little consequence.
Baron Vaku. Having a good time?
It's a fucking bore. These old farts here have no idea what fun is.
Well, what are you missing? There's wine, food. Even a few females worth the same.
I'd rather have a game of dice. Or a good punch-up.
Well, let's have a game then. But for what?
For coin. What else?
10 groschen of my worldly wealth.
Quite rightly. Honour your vow of poverty and turn out your purse.
God be with you. God be with you. God be with you.
I'd
How come you're still here, sir? Weren't you supposed to travel with Sir Hanush? Raise an army, prepare a wedding feast and all that?
All hail Yobst. He sorted out things here nicely. He got my money for a start, and that's more than I wanted to give him. But you know how it goes. Give them a finger. I explained to the Margrave that I'm not going anywhere, and I sent my captain with him. He's still young and full of piss and vinegar. I'm too old and fond of my comfort.
Did you at least discuss with Hanush where the wedding will take place?
Nothing to discuss. It'll be at our castle, Potstein, of course. It's the pride of our family. We can fit in 3 times more people than here, and that still wouldn't be much.
Ah, but there are 2 castles in Ratai. I'd bet my right arm old Hanush will want to have the wedding there.
What? In Ratai? Well, I ought to look into that then.
But deal with him yourself, though. I won't be your gent's messenger anymore.
It's pronounced Bucephalus.
You lost your...
You in need of something, my well-oiled friend.
I'd like to drink a toast with you to our joint success. As they say, all's well that ends well. So, to brighter tomorrows.
Touching.
Come now. What's become of your poetic soul?
I never had one.
Truly? Not even a little?
Well, maybe once. The older I get, the worse it is. Give me a few more years and I'll become a professional mourner.
See now. I'll gladly drink to that with you. Only there's nothing to drink. We've run dry.
Fuck. I've got a tongue like a slice of week-old bread after all that gabbing.
Well, get something wet for us then.
His lordship is so unsteady on his legs, he can't make it as far as the keg.
To hell with that keg slop. Your father surely has something better stored away. I had my eye on him all evening. He had pictures brought from somewhere for himself and his closest friends, and left the rest of us to drink cheap dregs. Try and find one of those pictures for us, eh? I'm sure you can manage that.
You can bet on it. I've got a nose for booze.
I don't doubt it. Get sniffing.
All right. Sorry, mate.
Otherin may be an old pinch person.
The sooner he's gone.
Whatever. They got by without us so far.
The rattle is good, I hope.
Now there's a piece of horseflesh for you, Rootheart. Not like that nag of yours.
What the hell do you beat it with?
It looks more like a damn bull.
Sir! Sir! There's some horsemen right out front of your fortress.
Ah, that's Peter of Pisac. He wouldn't come to the council, but he is coming happily to the celebration, you old fox.
Come on in, sir. There's wine aplenty.
Hey! Hey! Intruders! Enemies at the gates!
Seize the nobles! Kill the rest!
Just getting warmed up, you shit!
Get ready to leave.
Taste my steel!
You got it. Fancy moves. You got it.
was a close shave.
A little too close. Fuck me.
Do my eyes deceive me? Henry!
Godwin!
How did you get... Damn. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you. You turned up at just the right moment.
Is everyone all right?
Well, some are, some aren't.
They captured Odorin, Kunstad and Rutard. And they took Alder and Kunrad of Vector away too.
They wanted to slay the rest like dogs.
What about my father? And Hanush?
They left with Yobst long before that. I'm sure they're all right, but not everyone was so lucky.
What happened, Godwin? Who died?
Anna of Waldstein. She didn't stand a chance against those butchers. May she rest in peace. She was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they almost killed my brother.
But only almost. Good luck.
What do you mean, almost? What happened?
I got there in time to help him, fortunately. Christopher tried to defend our father, but nearly lost his life doing it. Nothing. Old grievances aside, Odorin is an ally, the same as Rutard and Botchek.
Well, they all have their quirks. Cousin Botchek's a money-grabbing magpie. But I wouldn't give up on the fucker either.
We'll have to wait for the other side's move anyway. We don't even know where von Berghow took them.
I tried to come as soon as possible and warn you, but von Bergov's people beat me here.
You knew he was coming.
Markvart bragged about it to Sigismund, and Sigismund promised to make him Lord of Raborsh in return.
When he sees what von Berghow did with it, he'll shit himself.
You find that funny? Do you like watching those foreigner dogs rampaging around and slaughtering innocents? Who else has to die before we do something about it?
Tell us about it. We were neck deep in corpses before you bothered to turn up.
Well, not you.
Fuck you, Jan. I'd trade places with you in a heartbeat, trust me.
We've lost a lot of allies. We'll have trouble finding new ones. They'll be afraid to even peep against Sigismund. Well, are you surprised? Look around. Sigismund showed everyone what's coming for all who resist him.
You want to give up now?
Nobody said anything about giving up. We'll treat the wounded, bury the dead, get the hell out of here. Then we'll hide in the Devil's Den and wait for Jobst and his army.
If I survive the journey... Oh, God's teeth. That stupid nag nearly broke me in half.
The king announced one more thing at the council. He asked the councillors to ransack the Jewish quarter. That is, he ordered it, more like.
Fuck! Liechtenstein's got his people there. He could reveal a lot. The city rabbi is sitting upstairs in the hall. At least he's safe here.
They're our allies. We have to help them.
What do you mean by we? Everyone here is lucky to be still breathing.
I can just see them all jumping to their feet and rush to save their poor Jews.
Maybe Samuel will figure something out. He wanted to talk to you anyway.
He's here too?
Aye, escorting the rabbi. You should go and see them as soon as possible. And tell Liechtenstein too. Anyway, we've got work to do. Godwin, give me a moment. I'll go and see Christopher first. Guard the walls until morning. If anyone shows up, I want to know about it. I'll be with Christopher.
Yes. The best thing we can do is begin doing our work. What if the old lord doesn't come along? Then we'll have a young one. Now we're in it. He's not a little boy. Soon we'll get there.
Well, at least it was over quick. Though, he almost took Hine from Kunstad. by Tempest lost his life too.
Soon we'll get married.
It was covered in blood, but I still exist.
Thank God for small mercies. Otherwise, Rabosh would be left without a king.
And it was an honor to stand by your side. I'm glad you did. Bastard hard work. Wouldn't have helped.
Otherwise, Rabosh would be left without a king.
No one knows where they've been ordered. Don't mourn just yet.
Start with that.
It was covered in blood, but most of it probably wasn't true.
Thank God for
Good doggy. Good boy.